If you'd told me a few years back that a compost bin, a solar roof, and one overcaffeinated HOA president could send my whole life into a tailspin, I probably would have laughed you off my porch, handed you a bundle of kale, told you to get some sun, and then gone right back to weeding my wildflowers. But let me tell you, when suburban warfare comes knocking, it doesn't care if you're ready. And I sure as hell wasn't. I'm Cody Turner, landscape nut-proud eco-freak, officially 36, but probably going on 70 from all the nights I lay awake sweating over whether I'd come outside one morning and find my old pickup being towed, or the city taping some notice to my fence because I dared let clover bloom where someone else wanted sod. My little patch of Maplewood Estates wasn't much when I bought it. Half-rotten shed, knee-high grass fences laced with ivy, and not a single thing that would ever make it into an HOA newsletter. But it was mine. And if you ask me, the only thing better than owning land is watching it come alive in your hands. Rain barrels, pollinator beds, old pallets upcycled into trellises, solar panels gleaming on the roof like a badge. Yeah, it stood out. Maybe too much, honestly. Because in my neighborhood, standing out is about as wise as poking a bear with a short stick. Except the bear had a name. Karen Webster. Shoulder-length blonde sneakers so white you could see your future in them always, with a clipboard like she was auditing God's work. First time she strolled up, didn't even say hi, just rattled off her community concerns like she was reading a grocery list. The compost, the hedges, the unapproved water collection structure. Said I was dragging down the whole subdivision. I pointed out politely that my lot was outside HOA boundaries. She just stared at my rain barrels like they'd spat on her shoes and muttered something about harmonious appearances. Should have known right then I'd just declared war, and I hadn't even put on my boots. Next morning, first warning letter in my mailbox. No postage, no name, just the fancy HOA letterhead and a list of things I apparently wasn't allowed to do, even though the HOA didn't technically have any say over my land. I laughed and tossed it in the recycling right until the compost bin lid got busted and someone lobbed a trash bag over my fence, banana peels and all. Found a sticky note, clean up your act. Yeah, that happened. After that, the neighborhood got real weird. Folks stopped waving. People walking their dog would pause to take pictures of my yard, pretending to check their phones. Even the mailman got twitchy. Another notice, another threat this time, inviting me to a community standards hearing. Never mind that I wasn't even on their list. Karen wanted me gone, and she'd use every dirty trick in the book to make it happen. I showed up just for the drama. Folding chairs, stale cookies. Karen at the front with her enforcer, Caroline, tall, sharp leather folder glued to her side, acting like I was on trial for treason. Your property disrupts the aesthetic harmony of Maplewood, Karen announced, glasses perched on her nose like a hawk. She said they were petitioning to annex my lot under HOA rules. I just smiled, pulled out my deed, and read the zoning code, no annexing unless I agreed, which, surprise, I didn't. Suddenly, everyone was blaming me for everything from raccoons to allergies to dangerous wildlife. Caroline scribbled in her notebook like she was prepping for a Senate hearing. Brent, their golden boy, just looked bored, probably wishing he was golfing. It was almost funny if it hadn't felt like a public execution. After that, things turned mean. More garbage, flyers warning about West Nile. Someone sent a compliance officer caught on my camera snapping pictures inside my fence. I confronted him. He mumbled about easements and bolted when I picked up my phone. That's when I called my lawyer, Grace Doyle. She said, document everything. Stay cool. Let them hang themselves. Wise words, but man, some nights I just wanted to torch the whole thing and move to the woods. I was exhausted, isolated. Neighbors I'd known for years stopped making eye contact. Every time I found another notice stuffed under my door, I'd just stand there wondering, was I the jerk? Was all this trouble really worth a few wildflowers and a rain barrel? There was one night thunder rolling me, sitting on my porch with a drink, seriously thinking about giving up, ripping out everything I'd built just to get a little peace. That's when the twist showed up. A scrawny kid named Tyler from down the block, who I barely noticed before, came up to the fence with a handful of dandelions and this shy, crooked smile. "Mister, I like your yard. My mom says it's messy, but I think it looks like a fairy forest." That stopped me cold. In that moment, I realized I wasn't just fighting for me. There were folks watching, folks who saw something good in what I was doing, even if they couldn't say it out loud. So I got up, dusted myself off, and decided to fight back smarter, not meaner. Set up more cameras, kept every flyer, every voicemail, every anonymous complaint. Then I hosted a Green Yard Day open house free seed packets for kids, flyers sent to the local news. And just when I figured nobody would care, the story landed on the 6 o'clock news. Local eco-activist battles, HOA over wild yard. Suddenly it wasn't just me versus Karen, it was Goliath getting a spotlight. Karen lost her mind. Code enforcement showed up, said my rain barrels were illegal. She claimed I was harboring vermin. Every report she filed just made her look more desperate. Meanwhile, Grace, my lawyer, started building a real case. Harassment, defamation, trespassing, attempted property control. Didn't think I'd ever sue a neighbor, but I wasn't backing down. Court day came. Karen looked like she'd swallowed a lemon, board members shifting in their seats. We played video of her dumping trash, trespassing, sending officials after me. Tyler's mom testified Karen had harassed them too, just because Tyler planted native flowers on their strip. Even the city's wildlife officer said, "No hazard, just healthy habitat." Karen's case unraveled fast. Then Grace dropped the bomb evidence. Karen used HOA funds for her own legal mess. Half the board looked like they'd seen a ghost. The judge didn't hesitate, ruled in my favor, booted Karen, fined the HOA, and ordered a public apology. Every cent I got, I donated to the city's green spaces. Watching Karen's face as the verdict came down, you can't buy that kind of satisfaction. Days later, her flags vanished. Her reign was over. Brent resigned. Half the board quit. The new president, Joe Ramirez, old Army guy, allergic to drama, asked me to help start a green neighbor program. Voluntary, no threats, just encouragement. Tyler's fairy forest caught on kids painting signs. Neighbors planting milkweed, the whole block feeling more alive than it had in years. Last seen. One summer evening, Karen, hair tied back, no clipboard, quietly loaded a moving truck. She didn't look back, didn't wave, just drove off before noon. The quiet she left behind was the best celebration we ever got. Maplewood finally felt like a place where roots could go deep and even the smallest yard could start a revolution. So yeah, I didn't just keep my land, I kept my voice and maybe showed a few folks what's possible when you don't fold to a bully. Let me ask you, if your neighbor stood up for what's right, would you back them or play it safe and stay silent? Tell me what you'd do. Because out here, justice is as much about the people as the rules. If you've got thoughts on community right versus wrong, or just want to sound off about HOAs, let's hear it.